Hey guys, welcome to another market update with Buying South Florida. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome. My name is Mario. I've been your local real estate expert in South Florida since 2006. I focus on the finance side of things. My team focuses on the real estate side of things. So welcome. Today we're going to update you on the real estate market down here in South Florida. First and foremost, guys, I want to talk about the refinance interest rates. So if you guys look back about 2 or 3 weeks ago when I did a market update about refinancing, I advised you guys to start the refinance process, but not to lock in your interest rate just yet. So if you listen to me, it's paid off. Now is a great time to lock in your interest rate. So make sure you call back your mortgage broker, your banker. Hopefully your mortgage broker is us, and we'll get you locked in at a very low interest rate. So now is a very good time to lock in your interest rates. Make sure you guys do so. Another update is the non-QM loans are making a comeback. Non-QM loans, if you guys remember a few weeks ago, stop financing loans. These are loans that don't verify income through tax returns, but rather they use alternative sources like bank statements or stated income and things like that. These loans are particularly good for self-employed clients. They're particularly good for foreign nationals, for investors. So those loans are making a comeback now into the market. So if you've been denied or declined during this process, it's a good time to reach out to your mortgage broker and have them take another look at your financing, because you may qualify now. Part of the market update and the analysis that I do is I look at stats. I don't like to just base things on gut feelings. I like to look at actual numbers and kind of reason and figure out how that will affect our real estate market down here in South Florida. The first slide I want to show you guys is the weekly unemployment filings. So this was taken straight out of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It was used by Tom Ferry recently in one of his podcasts, and it's a very good stat to show that even though the total unemployment percent is still high, it's been declining, right? So we have to look at the unemployment filings per week, and as you can see by the stats, it's declining. So I hope to continue to see a downward trend to where we can feel comfortable that unemployment is under control, that COVID-19 is under control. The stats show that it's been declining, and it's really good sign for us in real estate. The second stat I want to show you guys is the breakdown of the unemployment and the categories of which that belongs to, right? So for example, here on the far left, you see servers and bartenders is at its highest percentage. You can't see it here, but it's about 37% of the unemployment filings. Obviously retail, temporary services. You have things like manufacturing, construction. What I take from this slide is that most of these jobs will come back. It's not like we've lost these jobs forever. We didn't lose them overseas to another country. These are job losses due strictly to a health issue. So I'm confident that once we are reopening the country completely, most of these jobs will come back, and we'll get most people that lost their jobs back into the labor force. So if we look at these statistics objectively, right, it tells us two things. Market values are driven by supply and demand. Right now, demand is low because there's a lot of people that are holding off on purchasing. There's a lot of people that are unemployed, so they are not on the search to purchase a home. So right now, demand is lower than it was before the crisis. So my take on this is that once we get this virus under control and we feel more comfortable about reopening everything completely, demand for housing will increase again. So if the demand increases, naturally the prices should increase, or at the very least, the prices should hold going forward, right? So we've been seeing an increase in property values between 2.7 to 2.9% annually in South Florida. So my take on this is that if we predict or if we foresee what's coming with property values based on actual stats, it looks positive, right? It looks as if most of the people that will get back into the workforce will drive demand up, which then means that property values down here in South Florida will either increase or at the very minimum hold. Just basing it on the stats, my opinion is that we will continue to see a healthy growth in real estate property values going forward once we get the COVID-19 under control. So if you guys are on the fence about purchasing, if you guys are not sure whether you should buy a property or not, now may be a very good time for you to get out there and find a good deal. There are some opportunities out there where you can find a little bit of a discount on these properties. So by all means, if you have job security, if you know your job is not in jeopardy, We encourage you to go out and purchase a property. We can do your pre-approval right away. We can get you paired up with one of our best agents, and you guys can start looking for properties now rather than later when the property values continue to rise and demand goes up, and you may not find a good opportunity later on. So I'll be answering some of the questions that you guys had. Robert asked, I own a property with equity. Should I pull the equity out to reinvest? If you have the equity laying around, might as well use it. If we can put it into an income producing property where now you can generate some income on a monthly basis, sure, it makes sense for you to do so. But we need to have a conversation or a more detailed conversation about whether it makes sense for you to use this equity to reinvest in real estate or in any other investment. Question, I hear people say duplexes are better investments. Should I buy a duplex as a rental income property? Well, it depends. Not all duplexes are the same. Not all investment properties give you the same rental income and so forth. So there is a misconception out there that if you just want to buy an investment property for rental income, you just buy a duplex, but that's not actually right. Not all duplexes actually really give you, the rental income that makes sense. So if you're looking to invest in a multifamily, in a duplex, in a triplex, sure, that may be a better purchase than if you buy maybe a condo somewhere. But still, we'd have to take a closer look at that duplex or triplex. So it's important that you take into account various things like rental income, maintenance, the age of the roof, insurance costs, etc. before you purchase a multifamily or a duplex or a triplex. We can sit down and look at these numbers very, very detailed to see if it's something that makes sense for you. Again, not all duplexes give you rental income. It's important that you look at them closely. Should I pay off my credit cards before buying a home? Not necessarily. So we don't look at credit card balances as something detrimental or something that can prevent you from buying a property. There's a lot of times, more often than not, we actually don't ask the clients to pay any credit cards off as part of the financing. There are times that if your debt is a little bit higher than we can approve you for, then sure, we'll have the conversation about paying some of these credit cards off. But I like to see your credit report first. I like to see your finances first before you go off paying credit cards, because you may not have to. You may use some of that money instead of paying for these credit cards, we may use it for remodeling, we may use it for down payment, etc. So don't just run off and go pay your credit cards. It may not be as beneficial to you as you think. That's your South Florida real estate market update, guys. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you think it's going to be a market downturn coming up, also I'd like to hear, and I also like to hear why. Please send me some statistics, some articles that I can read that support your opinion of the market going downwards. If you found this useful, please hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment, share it. Appreciate it. Until next time. Thank you, guys.